Alfred Stieglitz was born on January 1st, 1864 in Hoboken, New Jersey, and died in New York City on July 13th, 1946. He was an important person in American art and photography. Growing up in a German Jewish family, he went to school in Germany for a while and studied mechanical engineering. It was there that he first became interested in photos. He moved to New York City when he got back to the United States in the 1890s and stayed there for most of his life and work. As a photographer, publisher, and gallery owner, Stieglitz rose to fame and is known for supporting photography as a real art form. He also backed American modern art through his New York galleries like 291, where he brought famous modern artists from Europe like Picasso, Matisse, in American homes. In later years, he became friends with the painter Georgia O'Keeffe and took many pictures of her. Alfred stated this quote, "With a kind of heat and excitement, I'm at last photographing again. It is straight, no tricks of any kind, no humbug, no sentimentalism, not old or new. It is so sharp that you can see the pores in a face. And yet, it is abstract. It's a series of about 100 pictures of one person. Heads and ears, toes, hands, torso. It is the doing of something I had in mind for many years." End quote. About his photographs of Georgia. It was while in school in Germany in the 1880s that Alfred Stieglitz started taking pictures. He went to Technische Hochschule in Berlin to study mechanical engineering, but he became very interested in photography and taught himself a lot by practicing, watching others, and trying different things. He became interested in photography after being influenced by German photography and pictorialism, a movement that stressed the artistic side of photography. When he got back to the U.S., he joined the Camera Club of New York and started writing for Camera Notes, which he later edited. He would go on to start Camera Work, a major photography magazine, even though he didn't have an official teacher. Stieglitz was greatly affected by the artistic and technical experiments going on in Europe. He also used his engineering background to improve the way he took pictures.
Alfred Stieglitz mainly used photography as his preferred medium to prove a point that photography was a medium that was capable of artistic expression just like painting and sculptures were. However, Stieglitz was also a writer. In 1896, Stieglitz helped created a journal titled Camera Notes, which was initially used to take notes during a camera club meeting, but was also repurposed to take note of what was going on in the photographic world at large, to review new processes and consider new instruments and agents as they came into notice. In short, to keep our members in touch with everything connected with the progress and elevation of photography. Later on, Stieglitz would publish Camera Work, which was a luxurious and influential photographic quarterly designed by Edward Steichen and known for its beautiful photos repurposing the fine photographs of the photo secession, as well as introducing modern European art to America. In the article, Alfred Stieglitz, 1864 through 1946, and American Photography by Lisa Hostetler. Hostetler would say, and I quote, Stieglitz edited the Association's luxurious publication camera work from 1903 to 1917 and organized exhibitions with the aid of Edward J. Steichen, who donated studio space that became the Little Galleries of the Photo Secession in 1905, familiarly known as Studio 291 for its address on Fifth Avenue. Some notable events that happened during Stieglitz's lifetime that may have influenced or affected his artwork is World War I, which occurred in 1914 through 1918. Some personal events that I could find that Stieglitz went through was that he was born to a German and Jewish immigrant parents in New Jersey, and later on in life would marry American painter Georgia O'Keeffe in 1924, and both would play an important role in inspiring and elevating each other's status as artists, as Stieglitz would heavily photograph O'Keeffe.
Alfred Stieglitz was known for his key role in the pictorialism movement. Stieglitz often used platinum prints and gum bichromate prints to achieve soft textures and a balanced tonal range to emphasize shadows, highlights, and contrast in his work. In later years, Alfred Stieglitz embraced modern photography with his use of large format cameras to capture more precise details and textures to create unmanipulated images. Through his exhibitions and publications, Stieglitz introduced European avant-garde ideas to America, which shaped the future of photography. During his early years, Alfred worked really hard to be recognized for his work and entered many of his pieces into many national and international photography competitions. Some of his award-winning photographs are An Icy Night and Net Mender. Known work from Albert carried through his entire career, ranging from the pictorialism movement and his series Equivalent. This series took place the summer Albert spent photographing clouds for their deeper meaning. Albert said this about his series: "Through clouds, I wanted to put my philosophy of life to show that my photographs were not due to subject matter, not to special trees or faces or interiors, to special privileges. Clouds were there for everyone. No taxes yet on them. Free." Other of his known work includes many of his portraits of his later wife, Georgia O'Keeffe, which he photographed starting in 1918 and created many series on. However, one of his most discussed photographs is the Steerage, a photograph with a deep meaning.
The work I'm picking to talk about is the Steerage, arguably his most enduring photograph. On May 14, 1907, Stieglitz's family got in a boat headed to Paris for a trip. That day, Alfred Stieglitz felt uncomfortable and out of place in the first-class area, so he left the area and went far away on the deck, coming to a place where he could see both the lower and upper decks at the same time. There he saw the lower-class passengers at the bottom, while the upper-class people were on top, showing a clear class divide. Stieglitz would later speak about what he saw that led him to take the original photo. While standing there, he saw many shapes, forms, and textures created by the people's bodies, and ran to get his camera, returning to see that none of the subjects had moved, and resulting in this legendary composition. A round straw hat, the funnel leading out, the stairway leading right, the white drawbridge with its railings made of circular chains, white suspenders crossing on the back of a man in the steerage below, round shapes of iron machinery, a mast cutting into the sky, making a triangular shape. I stood spellbound for a while, looking and looking. Could I photograph what I felt, looking and still looking? I saw shapes related to each other. I saw a picture of shapes and underlying that the feeling I had about life. The steerage was a milestone for modernism in photography. This picture tells the story of immigration and class, while being one of the first photos to convey abstraction with the shapes. When a viewer looks at this photograph, they can't help but wonder about the stories behind each and every person. It is for this reason that Stieglitz himself saw this as his most definitive work and a shining example of photography as fine art. When it comes to my own interpretation of the steerage, I wholeheartedly agree with the points that historians and Stieglitz himself have made about why it is such an important photographic work. I want to dive a bit more into my personal interpretation of this photograph. Even though Stieglitz has been somewhat criticized for overlooking the subjects in the photograph, I think the story behind every single person is just as important as the forms. It serves as a great storytelling device and makes me think about how my family had to immigrate to America in the wake of the Vietnam War. The fact that the crowd of people blends into a sea of shapes tells another story of maintaining humanity and individuality through the harsh conditions on the boat. Lastly, the clear separation of the poor lower class and wealthy upper class makes the composition even more interesting, as if there was both a literal and physical line separating the two groups.
Thank you.